Hello, everyone. This is Dixie. I'm here with W8ofGlory, and we're going to be doing our very first Dixie's Corner podcast today. And as you can see on our lovely screen, we are talking about Disney Villainous. This is where my Twitch stream first started, and it's completely grown from there. We went into Kingdom Hearts a little bit, Tales of Arise, and proceeded from there. So today we're just going to really talk about how we got into it, why we really like it, and maybe talk a little bit about the characters. So, We8, if you want to go from there, tell us why or how you got into Disney Villainous and where you found the game.
Yeah, sure. It's probably not a surprise to everybody that we're starting with Disney Villainous because this is kind of what we do a lot.
Yes.
It's a fun game we like to play. I guess I first got into it. I had seen it. I was browsing one of the stores. I don't know if it was Walmart or Target or where I was at, but I saw it on the shelf and I was like, "Oh, it looks interesting." But at the time, and you always tease me about not really liking to spend money, and I don't tend to like to spend money a whole lot, but um, so I passed it by and um, didn't think about it a whole lot other than later I was at a friend's house. I used to work for Lifeway Christian bookstore, and we all would sometimes get together, just have afternoons, evenings where we'd hang out and play games and stuff like that. And um, one night we were playing games at my friend's house, and she had gotten Villainous for her birthday, and so she pulled it out. She's like, "We're going to play this game," and I was like, "Oh, great! I wanted to give that one a try." And so we ended up playing that one. I think it was I think we had 5 people playing at the time. So those of you who've watched some of the streams or been in some of like the Wicked League know a lot of times we play like the 1v1 matchups a lot. But then there's also um, kind of like the variety that you get when you play 3, 4, 5, 6 players. So it's one of the reasons why I do like the game so much. Just it gives you such a variety of ways and strategies to kind of play. It's so much different playing in like a 5 player game than versus a 1v1. But anyway, so we just played that first time, and it was kind of like I first was playing it, and I was like, I really don't know how to play this game. And that's like any game, you get used to playing it and you get used to the rules the more you play it and everything. But I think the first character I played was Maleficent, and so it was fun. I was like, I'll pick this one. It didn't seem to be too difficult of a task. I was like, I can get 4 curses at 4 locations, and it's like I think a couple times I got like 3 or 4 curses, and then like 2 or 3 people fated me in a row, and of course they were both fates that lost the curse, and I was like, well, okay, but so that was it. I kind of started from there, and it was just such a fun game. I had to go out and pick it up for myself and try it out. So
Right.
that's kind of how I got into the game overall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then kind of from there, um, I kind of like to watch. Sometimes I'll pull up YouTube and watch. There was an old what was it? There was an old, like, it was probably like a podcast or a YouTube channel. It was um what was the name of it? I can't
Game
think
the
of it. it
game.
was it wasn't Game the Game. It was the one before there, because
Oh,
Game the Game actually did Villainous.
yes.
But there was one before that, that Will Wheaton did, and he would kind of host like different shows and stuff, and they would do play a board game and kind of introduce it to people. And so I've always loved playing games, and it was always fun to kind of watch stuff like that. Well, I had um, popped up Game the Game, and I watched them play Villainous, and just trying to kind of see like a little bit about how to play and get some ideas and tips and strategies. And being on YouTube, I saw some of like the games that the Wicked community had done, and was watching that. And they had like a link to join the Discord, and so I joined the Discord and decided I wanted to try to jump into playing, and it's just kind of went from there. So
Right. Um, That seems like a very fascinating story. And it's really funny to hear because a lot of times when I ask people, oh, which character did you start with? Majority of these people are going to say Maleficent. for the exact same reason that you said Maleficent. It was because it seemed easier. And back then, when you first start, you don't realize that move an item or ally location, you can move curses with that. Like, you don't. I'm sorry, but I didn't read the pamphlet when I first started playing. I said, okay, this is the card that tells me what to do. I'm going to go from there. Um, but Chris and I pretty much had the same uh, perspective. We went to Myers. We got ours from Myers
Hmm.
in Findlay. And that was during quarantine time, so neither one of us was working. We were bored out of our mind, and Ohio wasn't in lockdown to the point where you couldn't go out to anywhere. So we were like, okay, we're just gonna have a game night. We're gonna have a game night, invite some people over, and everyone's like, well, we're tired of playing the same games. We always play Cards Against Humanities. We always played Monopoly and Clue and things like that. So we're like, all right, let's go see what games we have out there. We go and we look at Meyer, and we're like, Chris is like, oh, this is Disney related. You would love this game. And I'm like, I don't even know what this game is about. He's like, but let's buy it and we'll figure it out as we go. So we bought it, and on the way home, so it's about a half-hour drive, depending if there's a train or not. I'm watching Game the Game, where the very first box, the Worst Takes It All box, and they're each playing a different character, and I'm watching, and I'm like, oh, this seems easy enough. And we didn't call it Fate in our group. We called it Smite. I'm going to smite you. Um, we're going to smiteth you. You were the chosen one. And we actually had 6 players. So we had enough for each person to have one of the villains. Chris started out with Ursula, and I was. Oh, who the heck was I? I was Jafar. Yeah. And we had a Prince John, and we had a Queen of Hearts, and we had a Maleficent, who we were stupid and didn't read her curses and realized she was moving to locations where the green fire was at, and they should have been discarded this whole game. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that would have been smart. But that's where I got into it, and then I found Joker Jonesy on Twitch. I just kind of searched up in the Twitch bar Disney Villainous, and he happened to be streaming at one point, um, shortly before the Wicked League started.
Hmm.
And I clicked on his Discord link and I went from there. And then when he stepped away from Villainous, I slid my little tiny butt in there and said, well, I guess it's my turn to stream it. Because I think a lot of people still enjoy it, and it's amazing how gun ho he was for me. Like, he created a lot of the overlays for me. He created a lot of the commands for me. You know, he was very like, oh, if you want to do this with this, do that. So he's very, very good. I give him props. He got a lot of people into the game without even realizing he was doing it, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I put a lot of thank into him for finding me some people to play with, showing me what TTS is. That's a whole nother topic there. Tabletop. Wish. Wish.
Tabletop, yes. That
Tabletop.
is my favorite game simulator.
Uh, it's his favorite game simulator, but his computer doesn't like it.
That's true. My computer does not like it, but
um,
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun way to play and interact with people who are far away, especially during the pandemic when you can't really get together and
exactly.
do things as much in person as you'd like to. And I know when I first started playing, and you showed me some of the like the tricks and stuff to like the TTS things when we were first playing. You're like,
Yep.
how do I like how do I get Queen of Hearts cards to like not rotate so far? Oh, you gotta get in there and change the degree of rotation. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So,
I
uh,
did. That's another thing. That it's a lot of things. I'm not promoting TTS. Like, if you want to play Disney Villainous, go out and buy the boxes. Definitely go out and buy the boxes, because the more that we
mhm,
purchase the boxes, the more boxes they're going to be able to make. If you just buy TTS and buy it there, we're going to lose out on a lot of promotions and stuff like that they could have. So definitely go out and buy the boxes, and then learn how to play it, and then buy TTS. Um,
mhm.
Speaking of boxes, we have a new one coming out um, in 6 days at Target. What Do you think that's gonna be our last box? Do you think we're gonna go from there, or are they running out of people?
I kind of thought that they might have been done after the last one that we got.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because like I felt like they had hit a lot of like the main classic villains, and it had been like I don't know when did it first come out? 2018. So it'd been
Mm-hmm.
about 4 or so years that they've been releasing new boxes.
Right.
And I guess I just hadn't really. I was just kind of waiting for them to kind of stop and go do something different, and it had kind of started branching out into the Marvel Villainous area. And but I think they're probably gonna keep going because I think that they have, and there must still be enough of a market for it because they've jumped into like the Pixar now.
Right.
So like for those who aren't aware, they're jumping into the Pixar villains with the new box, and we're going to have Syndrome and Lotso, along with, and they did combine it with another Disney one that was kind of like a classic, Sword in the Stone. Some people
Madam
probably
Mim.
aren't as familiar with that, but Madam
Mm-hmm.
Mim. So yeah, I think I could see them maybe going on again, and they'll probably still do. I think they'll probably do maybe a Marvel one in the summer, and then I would be. I think I could see them doing another couple Pixar's and another Disney interspersed, or maybe two Disney and one Pixar, or
Right.
something like that, because the universe is so vast in terms of options that they have. Um, and I think it would just be really cool to see them keep putting it out. So, um,
Right. And I mean there are hundreds of Disney villains. But if we look at the ones we're choosing, it's before the time period where they switched over to not having any villains at all. The last time we ever saw some sort of villain was, I believe, Mother Gothel. That movie was the last movie we actually saw like a true villain in a Disney movie. Now, nowadays, like Encanto and Frozen, you get, and Moana. Moana really doesn't have a villain. You got Tafiti, but she's not really a villain. You you have more of the heroic, I can do it myself, independent princesses, should we say, and they kind of do their own thing, and they're resorting more to promoting family, promoting uh, independence. You know,
mhm.
just kind of growing from there versus having a villain. I mean, you've watched Encanto. There's really not a villain per se.
It's more of them, more of the internal struggles with themselves, that the characters have, and like
Exactly.
overcoming certain things.
Exactly.
I guess we did have like in there's Bellwether and Zootopia.
Right.
You've got Hans in Frozen.
In the first one, but
Um,
he
in the
was
first one,
yeah.
the second one didn't really have a villain per se. I don't
No,
think. But,
no, not really.
yeah.
I I
Uh,
I think that they're gonna take this very far as they can. Mind you, there's characters such as Clayton who has a copyright issue. I don't think they're ever gonna get the rights for him.
which
Um,
that's a bummer because I would love to see a Tarzan one.
yes, that would be a lot of fun if they could persuade the creators to say, "Hey, this is our revenue. This is who streams it. It's getting a lot of promotion. Let us use the dang character, and we'll be done with it." That would be awesome. Now, going back to the box, now we have Evil Comes Prepared, which is orange, and now we have Bigger and Badder, which is bright orange. And from what I can tell, Syndrome and Scar, their movers look identical.
They look pretty
Identical.
similar.
Now,
Yeah.
how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like they should have went with a different color or try to incorporate something different in that box?
Um, hmm. It's hard to say. I mean, with Syndrome being the kind of like the face of the box, it was hard to go for a color other than orange.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I think that that's just his hairstyle. It just is what kind of stands out there. Unless they would have maybe done with like I don't know, maybe like a silver
Mm-hmm.
color
Well,
for like.
they could have picked any of the two characters. I mean, the only two boxes that you have that are um Perfectly Wretched, which is Cruella, on the top of the box, which I don't have a picture of in my slideshow. I feel terrible. You have Perfectly Wretched and The Worst Takes It All. Those two are the only two boxes, I believe. Oh, and Wicked to the Core. Those three boxes are the only three boxes that have females on it. The rest are male picturettes.
Hmm. Yeah, they
Which,
could have done maybe Madame Mim and done maybe like
mm-hmm.
a pink or like a lighter purple. I was kind of surprised that they did like a lighter purple for her board.
Yeah,
From what I've seen in like some of the um,
imaging.
like the imaging, the pictures that are
There,
out.
I was just on
I thought she
Facebook.
could have been like a pink.
I was just on Facebook, and there's a Villainous group on Facebook, which I'll put their link in the comments below. Um, there's someone in Denver that already went to Target and has the bigger and better box with the custom mover, the Target exclusive mover, and everything. And he was showing pictures, and I'm like, I really like the way the box looks. I like the sleeve cover, which Despicable Plots had a sleeve cover. Um, but in general, I think that it all looks really good. I just personally think like either Despicable Plot should have been Lady Tremaine on the front of the box, making it a blue color, or they should
Hmm.
have picked someone different to be on the cover of this box. That's just my personal opinion because then the boxes wouldn't look so similar.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I know a lot of people had kind of tossed out like maybe like Hans from Frozen could have been a blue box, or there's plenty other villains out there that could potentially do like a blue box for. But yeah, so like I said, that's they just got to keep making them because they haven't completed the colors yet.
Exactly.
So
Now, now we all know who your favorite is. At least I assume who your favorite is. Uh, but you can go ahead and tell everyone who your favorite is. Is it the Queen?
really,
Is it the Queen of Hearts?
Queen of Hearts.
Yeah.
I like to play Queen of Hearts. I don't know that I would say she's my all-time favorite of characters to play. Um, I do like to play Queen of Hearts. I in all honesty, I kind of like to mix it up a lot. Um, like I don't have one that I tend to play like over all of the others, just because I just like that variety.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do like Queen of Hearts. I like to play Mother Gothel. Um, I like to play Ursula.
Oh my
Um,
God, you
I,
can keep her.
I tend to like to try to play the ones that are seen as more of a challenge or more of a puzzle to them
Mm-hmm.
sometimes because I think I just like trying to figure out how to get them to compete with some of like the ones that are seen as quicker or things like that. So it's a fun thing to try the different ones. But but yeah, so we know you like Yzma, so
Oh yeah, she's my girl. It's always a thing. I always have Yzma in my back pocket when I need her. Um,
hmm. And it's hard for me to like because I like to play all of them. I've never really sat down and done like a ranking of them for myself, which maybe that'd be a fun thing to do sometime. But go through and actually rank them like how I feel about playing them. Um, but that'd be a cool thing to do. But I did notice when you said that when you were first playing the first time you guys played that Chris played Ursula, and I was wondering, and I was going to ask you, did that put him off of playing Villainous to start with Ursula?
okay, so when Chris and I first played, so Chris is one of those people where he gets really into something and then he just slowly fades away cuz he I call him like a jumping addict. Um so he'll go from like he'll collect Pokemon cards one day and then the next day he's like, "No, I'm over that. I'm going to collect Funkos now." So I burned him out of Villainous because, mind you, I was in quarantine and he's my only friend. Um, so we literally played every day for hours, and then I taught my best friend at the time before she moved to Florida. I taught her how to play, and she came over like every day with her baby, and we played for hours and hours on end. And we actually got in a fight over this game, okay? Because she thought I was cheating, and I wasn't cheating because I won a lot. So I was just like, it's not my fault. So I finally burned all of them out of playing, and he's like, you know what? I found this tabletop simulator. It looks like they're playing Villainous on it. Here you go. I'm gonna buy it for you so you can sit on the computer for hours and play with people. But I did take a break. Uh, I think I took a 4 month break. I had so much going on. I got a promotion at work, and I was just working my booty off, and I didn't play any. And then I'm back. Now I'm back, and I play a lot of it again. I added Perfectly Wretched to the slideshow now. Now I feel like an accomplished podcaster. But no, I got him out of playing. He'll play once in a while with me. Like, he doesn't know how to play the new box, the Despicable Plot box.
Okay.
I tried to teach him Horn King. It wasn't happening. So, once in a while, he did do a tournament with us at one point, just because I needed that extra person. And then after that, he just didn't play. He went from Villainous to RuneScape, and then from RuneScape to nothing. I don't think he's playing anything now. He's playing Kingdom Hearts now, but yeah, he's a jumping streamer, should we say? But
Nice.
yeah, that's why he does. That's why I play on tabletop now. It's well, we do once in a while. If anyone listening is from Ohio, sometimes hopefully we can get another one going. We get together and we play some games in Columbus. That seems to be a neutral spot. We'll have to
Ohio.
come out to Tiffin, to my little tiny apartment, and we can play here. Um,
Yeah, I liked the that tabletop place was pretty cool when we went the one time. They had
Tabletop
plenty of lots
cafe,
of
yeah.
games that you um, could use any of the games that they had there, and lots of tables there, and
And they had
uh,
Disney Villainous there. They
they
had
did. They
they had
did.
Despicable Plots and The Worst Takes It All. Those were the only two ones. But a lot of times, I highly recommend for anyone who's looking into the game and wants to learn more. Um, a lot of smaller game stores, puzzle stores, game stores, whatever, have the game. Mind you, it might be a little more expensive than buying it from a higher end store such as Target, Walmart, Myers, anything like that. But they do have them. They do have them. Um,
I don't know. I don't. I find that like places like Barnes and Noble and other places like that don't tend to discount anything. So
no, they don't.
it's probably about the same just
They
about everywhere
don't.
you go, except for maybe Walmart. Walmart usually gives you $5.
So we both are part of the competitive league.
Hmm.
Let me tell you, the competitive league is a lot different than playing with friends. And let me tell you, some of their rules make no sense to me. Such as
Which one?
just throwing this out there. Condition cards being played when a fate card's being played to eliminate that fate card. For example, outrage being played when Pluto moves an item to their location. See, my
Mm,
perspective is that card should be played if the opponent moves something on their board, on their end. Um, that's just my perspective. But,
I think that and not being like part of like the design crew, I would be under the assumption that it was meant to be as like when that when the person playing a villain takes the action of moving something,
that's what
like
I that's what I was saying,
the
yeah.
actual action on the board,
Mhm.
as opposed to it being a side effect
Exactly.
of moving something else based on like a fate card. So, and it's one of those things where um when you are playing with a league, it's like, you go with the rules that have been decided upon, um, and you play that way for that. And then if it's something that you want to like as a house rule, then you play it when
Mhm.
you're with your friends. You play it how you think it would go your way. Um, but yeah, that's kind of one of the concessions I guess you make when you play. It's like, you play a league, you play by the rules. So
Yes.
it's one of those things I've tried to learn to work around, but it's one of those things that I don't necessarily think about
Mhm.
um, all that much when I'm moving something. Um,
Right.
but
Just like
yeah.
with Beautiful as Me, bam. I don't think about that condition card. I just want to take my actions and get to WinCon faster than he can. Now, the
That
only.
one I do. That one I do try to think about because that one's not one of the ambiguous where you're moving an item and things like that. It's like
Exactly. Now going further into
they built that condition in there.
the going further into the despicable plots, we're starting to look at more of the heroes that are not start your turn, which was introduced in Marvel Villainous. I believe the first box in Marvel Villainous. Hela is not a start your turn villain. Now, how do you feel about those not start your turn villains? Those instant wins. Uh, Play a
Well, I
Cauldron
think
board and
we
win.
had that. I don't think that that was a new thing with Marvel or with Despicable Plots because you had villains like Facilier or Evil Queen or Queen of Hearts that would have an instant win if it, like as soon as they like Queen of Hearts takes a shot and she makes it, she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to wait till the start of her next turn, you know. Or
Right.
Evil Queen, like the defeat a hero ones didn't have to.
Exactly.
Um, and I think that it's an interesting dynamic, especially, and it comes more into play, I think, um, when you have the multiplayer games, because then you have that option, you have that couple go arounds. If you've got like 5 or 6 players, you've got maybe a couple chances for your fate to mess up your win condition. Whereas if you're playing 1v1, it's not something as much that comes into play. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it still does because um, that one fate can still mess you up. But a lot of times you might be able to get your opponent into where they can't fate you that turn. Um, and so it makes it a little easier to win on your turn if it's a 1v1, I think, than when you're in that big group.
Right.
But I think that the some of the ones that have um, that instant win condition for like Gaston or for Lady Tremaine or for Horned King, um, there's a lot of work that goes into, especially Horn King and Gaston,
Mm-hmm.
of like removing those 8 obstacles or getting all four. It's a build up, and so I don't think I think that those ones I don't have a problem with them being like an instant win as soon as you meet the objective,
And their
because I
fate
think
decks.
for those ones it's such a big setup to sometimes get them where they need to be, that if you have 2 rounds or even 3 rounds to where someone's going to fate you, you're going to hit something that's going to be
Right.
almost impossible to win on a
Right.
start your turn.
And
So
a lot of times, if it's an instant win, people are more object to fate as much as they can. Especially Gaston. His fate deck's pretty brutal. Especially if you can keep popping out Bell and moving your allies around and keeping those fate places
hmm
covered as much as you can, it's not too bad. Now, going into like the slower characters, I personally believe like Scar is a slower character. Hades is a little slower of a character for me. Cruella is definitely a slower character. So those characters, I think, need to fate more so they can cover their opponent's board to the point where they can speed run into victory.
it's
Um,
yeah, it's almost like it's a strategy that you kind of have when you're playing some of those. You try to set the pace of the
mm-hmm.
game. So and like you say with Cruella, it's almost like because it takes so long for her to get those puppies on the board and captured, that you almost kind of start a bit more fate heavy, and try to get your opponent to be slowed down a little bit, so that
Exactly.
you can kind of catch up and stay in the game and everything. So
Now, do you think that Villainous is going to keep growing and people are going to keep finding it? And even if we don't have any more expansions, we're still going to have plenty of people to play with, if that makes any sense. Do you think there's
yeah,
going to constantly be a community to have those fun days?
I hope so. You know, it's like I can't speak for everybody else, but like we kind of talked about earlier, there's just um, so many options out there for villains for them to kind of expand into, and um, I think that I think the Wicked League was something that kind of definitely helped bring awareness to it.
Mm-hmm.
You had kind of like that organized league of games being played, and who knows, maybe we'll see some more of that with the new expansions coming out. Maybe they'll get a chance to do something like that. And if not, I mean, there's still, like you say, there's still lots of people who are part of the community and are around for even just like a casual game or something to play with whenever you're free. There's usually somebody on
Exactly.
and willing to play. So you just kind of message in the chat room and say, "Hey, anybody looking for a game?" And you can usually find somebody. So
Exactly. And there's people who
um,
play webcam. For those that don't have TTS or don't want to buy TTS, you can always find a webcam game where you play with the physical board. I just don't like shuffling. Shuffling is not my gift. Now Chris is a shuffler. He can shuffle my deck for me, but I can't. I'm not very good at shuffling, and
I
it's
always
not my
loved
thing.
card games. So I never struggled too much with shuffling.
Hmm.
Um, my parents kind of taught me a trick for how to shuffle a deck when I was younger. Um, but it's kind of hard to explain just talking and everything. It's
I
easier
have to
to show
physically
with
show
that.
you.
Show with the deck
I'm
and
gonna
stuff.
take a 4-minute video of W8ofGlory teaching everyone how to shuffle one day. It's just gonna go
Now,
right online.
I do have to say that, and I've been trying to play a little bit with some of my Marvel because I don't play that as often.
Oh,
But I've
that's
been
another
playing some with
topic.
my Marvel boxes, and I noticed that the style of cards that I have between like the original box and then the expansion, like the card stock is a little bit different. So that kind
Right.
of makes it more difficult to shuffle when you're mixing styles of cards
Exactly.
because the one is stiffer and the other is not. So, but a regular deck of cards, I can shuffle away. So,
But in general, I think one thing, if you are new to the game or you're wanting to get into the game, definitely check out this YouTube page. I will have that linked in the comments below. My YouTube page will be linked. I definitely think going and checking out Joker Jonesy's YouTube page is a good idea too. And even Chaos has a YouTube playlist of Disney Villainous. You can find so many different places that teach you how to play, show you how to play on CTS. Just in general, if you want some deep dive, Lord of the Board has amazing deep dives into the characters. And in general, I just think my advice for new players, pick one character. Pick one character, learn that character, and then progress. And I don't recommend Despicable Plots right away. Highly don't
a
recommend that. Perfectly
little
Wretched's a
bit
good
more of a
one.
challenge.
Um, when you get to the condition cards, condition cards is what throws people. What do I do with this condition card? How do I use this condition card? And I just think Despicable Plots is a harder box to grasp because there's so many components to it. And especially with Horn King, you have to play the Ancient Soldiers, you gotta claim the Black Cauldron, you gotta flip the Black Cauldron or whatever, then you gotta gain power to flip. It's just, it's too much to handle. I definitely recommend going and getting the Worst Takes It All box, or Evil Comes Prepared is a good box to start out with, or
Hmm.
even, oh crap, Wicked to the Core. That's a good box to start out with. Any of the prior boxes, I definitely recommend. I haven't played the new box yet. Again, that comes out on February 27th in Target stores. It is in purchase only. You cannot purchase it online whatsoever. You have to go in the store and purchase it. Um, I have a feeling that it's going to be limited to two boxes per person.
I'm
So
hoping that I'm hoping my target has a few boxes. I think the last when Despicable Plots came out, I was able to go there the day of, and they had I think four boxes on in
yeah,
stock maybe.
yeah.
Um,
So
but
I would not plan on going there and hoping to get like 10 boxes because I don't think you're going to be able to. I don't think that's going to happen. Chris and I were just talking about this on the car ride home from Columbus. I told him I'm like February 27th. I'm getting up early. I am getting to Target when they open and I'm getting two boxes. Just
So I
telling you
may
now.
I may or may not, while I was out take running errands today, have stopped at my Target to see if they might have put the box out early. If
Did
they
you get a
haven't,
box?
I
Oh,
did
you
not.
didn't.
They
Oh
had
my
not put
gosh.
it out early.
You would have texted me and be like, "Do you want a box?" And I'd be like, "Yes, get me a box."
I would have messaged you. I'd have said, "Hey, guess what I got?"
He'd throw it in my face. That's so rude. I would have been
What?
like, "Hey, we ate. Do you want a box? I can pick this
Well,
box up for
I
you."
would have asked you if you wanted a box.
Aw,
So,
thanks.
but and I was just gonna say you kind of talking about maybe some things to kind of try out when you're first starting
Yeah.
out and everything, and um, picking one character is a good one. I would say one thing too that we talk about a lot is make sure you read the cards
Oh
all the
my
way
gosh,
through,
read the cards, guys.
because there's a lot of things that like sometimes they have like a couple different things on them that happen once people just kind of remember one thing and forget about the other part of it.
Uh-huh.
But also too, I would say one thing that really helps me out is the more you know um, the deck, especially like your own fate deck, to kind of know
Mm-hmm.
what is going to come out against you and how you can kind of prepare against that
Mm-hmm.
will really is kind of like a strategy that I will kind of use like
Card counting. He's a card
know,
counter.
know your cards. If you, yeah, and it's not a real big deck.
Oh
Um,
no. I
it's
th-
there's 15 fate cards, there's 30 villain
30.
cards, and a lot of them have repeats. So
Yes.
if you can pick that one villain and work on that one villain and know kind of like which cards are in which deck,
Mm-hmm.
um, then that's something that really helps you to know kind of how to prepare, kind of make your strategy and everything. But definitely, especially knowing your fate deck to know what can potentially come
Yes.
out and stop you and try to work around things like that. So,
I agree with that. I'm a terrible card counter. I'm terrible at it. I'll think that this thing is in your fate deck and I'll be like, "Oh, I have a couple turns yet." Nope. Nope, you already
and that
used
and that
all of them. You
and
done.
that for me, like I said, I played a lot of cards, a lot of card games. When I was in college, I had a group of friends. We would always, um, on the weekends, we would play cards. We would play spades or hearts or euchre and games like that where you can kind of keep track of the cards. And it's not even card counting, like especially like if somebody like you don't have um like an eidetic memory or anything like that, and you don't really have to, you really just like if you kind of keep track of like a certain number of them, even like to not know like okay, like I might not have the entire thing memorized, but like like if I'm playing like hearts or spades, it's like okay, where's like all the aces, have the aces been played, what in my hand could is out there that could take something in my hand. And the villain, it's the same way for Villainous. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm playing Maleficent. Um, where is have I seen King Stefan? Have I seen Aurora? Have I seen Prince Philip? So like
Mm-hmm.
some of those cards that really have that detrimental effect to you, to even keep track of three or four cards and know, hey, this is where I haven't seen this one yet. This could really mess with my plan. So it's not even like all of them, but if
Right.
you just kind of focus on like those three or four or five or whatever that really have an effect on you, um, and I mean, honestly, all cards can if they're played in the right spot, but some of them obviously have more chances to affect you adversely than others. And so I think that that's something that is helpful to look at.
Yeah, definitely. And I totally agree with all of that. And one thing I also recommend is if you do join those discords. Apparently, I
Discords.
can't speak today. COVID brain is real over here. Um, if you do find people that in there are a lot of people that have been playing for a very long time. Cortosis, W8ofGlory, myself, anybody in my Discord can help you learn how to play, and we're totally willing to help you. We have quite a lot of patience, trust me, and we can help teach you how to play, show you which characters to start out with. Uh, like I said, definitely try the first box. Stay away from Ursula, because
Come on now.
I'm just saying, word of the wise, Ursula is a good character. I still don't know her well enough. I don't think I've ever
She is
won
a
with her.
challenge. She's a challenge.
She is a challenging character. So, fun fact, when Chris first played Ursula, he killed King Triton before he played the Triton.
Oh no.
So he was like, oh no, I wasn't supposed to kill him yet. How am I gonna get him back? Okay. It's okay. You just play the Triton and it comes back. And he's like, oh, see, this is why we read the pamphlets.
Well, like you
It's
say, like
okay.
with playing Maleficent, you're like, I played an ally to Dreamless Sleep. Whoops, I guess I have to discard that now.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Read your cards, guys. Read them. Read the pamphlets. Even though I didn't read the pamphlets, read the pamphlets. Um, do it. Trust me, or you will be swimming naked. I swear. Um, One thing I also want to clarify is order of operations, especially with characters like Mother Gothel. When you go to the tower, you can't vanquish Rapunzel and then hope to move the hairbrush and Fate at the same time. That's not going to happen because she goes back to the tower and then it covers that. So, know your order of operations. Understand that if I do this, then I can't do this. And then it's just all bad for everyone. So, just remember order of operations. If you have a top play a card action and you plan on moving some allies to move some heroes around, do that play a card action first and then take the other ones if you need to. Um, but I think we've covered mostly everything. I have videos in my YouTube page, which is where this will be at, that you can see my ranking of all the Disney Villainous. You can learn how to play Disney Villainous in general. TTS, learn how to play on TTS. Uh, I stream. Now, my streaming schedule is always changing because I'm back at work on Wednesday. It'll more likely be later in the evenings. Again, probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time because I am in Ohio and I guess we don't like going to bed on time. So, that is a thing. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I
Include?
think we covered quite a bit of it.
We did
So,
cool.
but yeah,
For
glad if you came out to join us for this podcast here. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll be able to have some other conversations around Villainous and other topics and stuff
mhm.
in the future too. So,
The next podcast that we'll be talking about is we'll be talking about the Twisted Tale books. He has read them all. I have not. I'm still working on that. I have to get my book out of Chris's car now, thinking about it, so I can actually finish that. I am further in the chapters now.
oh,
And
nice. Did it pick up any for you?
if you are interested in the Twisted Tale books, we do have a book club, online book club that'll be starting in the Discord link below. And I think we have quite a few people interested in that, which I was very shocked on how many people were interested in that. So, again, thank you all for coming out. This is just our very first podcast. I'm going to try and figure out how to put it on Spotify and Google Play and all that fun technology stuff. And join us for the next one. Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.